Hi, everyone, and welcome. I'm Tom Carter, the president of the Herbie Hancock Institute of Jazz, and we want to welcome you to our second meeting. Many of you were with us in December. We had our first opportunity to meet many of you, and we're pleased that we're now 2 weeks out from International Jazz Day, and it's amazing the response we're getting from all of you partners from around the world of exciting programs, and we're fast underway with our planning for the host city in Abu Dhabi. We already have a team on the ground, and Herbie and I and others will be traveling there next week in preparation, and there are all kinds of education programs and outreach going on there. But the major real backbone of all this is what all of you are doing around the world. And we appreciate you joining us. We know for some of you it's early in the morning, others it may be afternoon, and some we may even have up in the middle of the night. So we appreciate you joining us. Herbie is obviously with us, and we've got David Ghoul, who heads up our global outreach, who'll share a little bit with you, and you're in communication with he and Leona and Wimpy throughout the year. But we just really want to thank you and say it's an exciting year. It's our 14th year now. When Herbie came up with this idea and we started it, it was great dreams, and we talked big, and we never dreamed it would be the movement it's become. But none of that would be possible without all of you around the world, because the showcase often is on the host city, and that is important because there's a global concert. But it's all of you around the world that are really the substance of this. You're there in the small towns and villages and large cities, getting the message, the enormous message of jazz and what it stands for, bringing people together and to unite the world. And this is certainly a time when we need that, and it is you that are enabling it. So we thank you, and we're going to start off with a video that we put together. It's very brief, that gives you a little bit of history of the education outreach programs over the years. So it'll bring hopefully back some great memories for you and an idea, and hopefully something exciting to give you ideas for the future. So let's start, and we'll start it rolling now.
This is a music that speaks to humanity, the human experience. To have it celebrated and have an actual day, April 30th, it's mind-blowing. It's just been embraced on such a global level.
30th of April every year has been set aside to celebrate International Jazz Day.
Today, it's all that jazz. It's International Jazz Day. Chicago's own Herbie Hancock helped make this day a reality back in 2011.
The kind of impact that International Jazz Day has now, I had no idea that was going to happen in the beginning.
Each year, the celebration has gotten larger and larger.
Last year, International Jazz Day reached over 2.5 billion people.
There's so many events. They're not all just concerts or jam sessions. They're educational events. There are panel discussions, there's dialogues.
It's something that's very simple that we take for granted, the whole notion of improvisation, saying what's on your mind.
There are outreach programs in hospitals.
It's what the spirit of International Jazz Day is about, to bring people together, to give them a sense of hope and empowerment.
Jazz is more than music. It is a message of freedom, a message of creativity. It carries values, strong values of dignity, of respect, and hope. Activities are taking place in schools, in museums, in community centers, universities, all around the world.
What's wonderful about the Jazz Day thing is that, it's not just one concert. The musicians get here early and just go out into the community and, interact, especially with the young people. That's really an important part of it. Music has a way of just getting where it's supposed to be. It's like water. It sees a hole, it just gets in there. It's kind of like, a Trojan horse, you know what I mean, of goodness.
Jazz is about creativity and cooperation. It's about individuality and being a part of a group. And so is life. I think if we had a little more jazz in our life, it would be better.
Oh, yeah. I think so, too.
The beauty of jazz is it is a passport into all kinds of different cultures. International Jazz Day keeps the spirit and the light and the love of this music moving forward and evolving in a beautiful way.
There's something fearless and true about jazz. This is truth-telling music. It speaks to something universal about our humanity. Is everybody ready? Let's do this thing.
So pelela pina ngakujena so pelela pina somandla.
Hopefully all of you found that inspiring as it is to us. And now it's my honor to bring on Herbie Hancock, who is our inspiration and truly the leader around International Jazz Day. And we know that he has a few words he'd like to share with all of you. So Herbie, it's yours.
I'm so happy to be here. So happy to see all of you. I mean, from all over the world. This is amazing. I'm excited to go to Abu Dhabi and experience Jazz Day again. So many years. It's amazing. And as I've said many times, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, more inclusive and more inclusive. You know, maybe it's going to include our pets, like the other living beings, our pets and animals and trees and seeds. Those are living beings, right? I think we have something to look forward to somewhere in the future for all that's going to come together in harmony. That'll be a great advancement for our humanity. And I have a feeling that jazz is going to be such a big part of making sure that happens. Yeah. Thank you very much for being here. And I look forward to, again, seeing many of you on International Jazz Day. Even if I don't see you, you'll be there, right? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Herbie. And now I want to introduce you to David Ghoul, who heads up the outreach for all of our programs around the world. Many of you have communicated with David. He's just going to share a little bit more about the outreach programs, and then he's going to bring Herbie back on. So go ahead, David.
Thanks a lot, Tom. And Herbie, just speaking of pets, we have one here from Hong Kong who's also joined your call. So we have a very wide audience today, humans, pets alike. And I just want to echo Tom's sentiment to all you organizers who have come from around the world. Today we have over 232 registrants from 80 plus countries just joining on this call. But even larger than that, if we look back over the years on how Jazz Day has grown since 2012, we've had 10,607 events registered. And that's not including 2012 because we don't have a count for that year. But, you know, it's just impressive how Jazz Day has grown into this truly global movement. And if you haven't registered, please do go to jazzday.com and register your event. Many of you may have heard from our small but mighty outreach team, Leona, Chan, and Wenfei. And Wenfei's here just to share a little bit about her experience in outreach, and then we'll move on to the Q&A with Herbie.
Thanks, David. And a huge thank you to Herbie and Tom for making Jazz Day possible, which has been such a meaningful way to bring people together from all over the world through music. It's been a pleasure for me to working in outreach, to contact and meeting outreach partners like from schools, universities, record and coffee shops, community centers, institute, radio station, and NGOs from all over the world, everywhere, Americas, Asia, Africa, Europe, and even small islands. And I guess from deep of my heart, I just want to thank you all for what you do in your communities for Jazz Day. We are just getting started and hope to continue growing the Jazz Day family even more in the future.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Wenfei. And we've got some questions that were sent in from organizers. So, Herbie, if you're ready, I'll ask you the first one. It's Valerie from Mauritius. She's here with 60 of her students from the Mozart NGO, which aims to fight against social exclusion through teaching jazz. And I'm sure her students on the call would love to hear from you and just any advice you might have for young people who are studying jazz or who might be considering a career in music.
Best thing that you can do is to be yourself, express yourself. Don't worry about trying to be better than somebody else. Be better today than you were yesterday. That's what's important. You know, it's not about competition with anyone other than yourself. You know, that's a battle we have every day, is to try to be better today than we were yesterday and better tomorrow than we are today. You know, other people are part of our family. You know, so, I mean, that's like part of our blood. So forget about competing in that kind of traditional way. The real competition is within. Always remember that. Always try to do your best.
Very,
Be open.
very well. Yeah.
Be open. That's a word to, you know, rather than compete, be open. Okay.
Fantastic. Well, I'm sure Valerie and her students from Mauritius really appreciate your words of wisdom. Next, we have Daniel, who's been a Jazz Day organizer for 13 years, and he's with Bajo Fondo Radio in Colombia. I'm sure you recall very, you know, nostalgically our time in International Jazz Day 2017 in Havana. And so his question is related to the impact of Latin American jazz on the international jazz scene, and what are your thoughts on that?
Oh, well, International Jazz Day shows how important Latin music is and the influence of Latin America. It's huge. It's part of the arms and legs and heart, and it's part of the body of jazz. You know, Dizzy Gillespie showed that in so many ways in his bands and throughout the history of jazz. The Latin influence has always been there. My own history has been formed by people like Mongo Santamaria. So many years ago, he is the one that, because of his record and his recording of my song Watermelon Man, that brought me onto the international stage. So it's a very important part of my own history. So there is no jazz without a connection to Latin America. Okay.
Fantastic, and we always have good representation from Latin America in the global All-Star concert, but also among the organizers around the world. Today, we were clearing some registrations from Mexicali, from Colombia, from Peru, many events from Venezuela every year, and just all around the region. So we want to just thank those organizers for all that they do for Jazz Day. Dan from Samoa asked about merging rhythms in music that might be native to a specific country with your own invention and musical creation. So I guess Dan wanted to ask, how do you honor specific styles that might be native to a certain culture or country while still maintaining the integrity of your own music? And maybe you can speak a little bit more about your creative process and how you've merged so many different styles.
Well, one of the reasons we even established International Jazz Day was because of the realization that even though jazz was originally born in America, the music had become the lifeblood of so many countries throughout the world that it really is an international music now. And so that connection to every aspect of humanity is the lifeblood of jazz now. It's not like just everything has to come from New York City or from Los Angeles or from Chicago. The winners of so many of our contests for various instruments have come from various countries throughout the world. They're not just Americans that always win. Not anymore. That was in the old days. Now they're amazing jazz musicians throughout the world, because I think the spirit of jazz is within the spirit of a human being itself. So it's an expression of the variety of who we are and where we have come from.
That's great. Yeah, that's really amazing. So we may open it up to one question from the audience, but before that, I'll be selfish because I read your interview with BBC, and congratulations on the Polar Music Prize. For those who aren't aware, probably the most prestigious prize in the field of music, and Herbie was recently nominated and delivered the prize. You were asked in that interview about playing with Miles Davis, and you said, I was always frightened playing with Miles, and that Miles was such a big part of my development as a musician. And not only myself, I'm sure others would love to hear any stories you might have, or any things that might not be out there in the public domain for this Zoom call.
Miles,
We'll edit out this part.
Okay, I won't say, I won't use some of the particular words that Miles used. But Miles was an amazing human being. He really loved the musicians that worked with him. I was scared playing with Miles. I was 23 when I joined his band. And the drummer, Tony Williams, was younger than I was. He was 17 years old. And I wasn't exactly terrified, but I was pretty scared. Miles was, to me, was like, I always considered him to be like Zeus, one of the gods of jazz, like Charlie Parker, and working with him really felt and knew that I was working with the best. But at the same time, what surprised me was when I began to notice that the path that Miles's solos would take was affected by we in the rhythm section. by Tony Williams on drums, Ron Carter on bass, and me. I noticed that we actually influenced what Miles was playing. It took about a year or a year and a half of working with Miles before I realized that that was happening. That blew my mind. It never occurred to me that would happen. And so that was a great revelation to me. And it showed me to do that with my own music, to listen to all the musicians so that the end result is a package. It's not just one person with others backing them up. It's all of them working together. And the light may shine, the bright light may shine on a particular musician that may, uh, um, where the focus is at a particular time. But that light actually extends to the other musicians in the band, and they're working together as a team. It's really a team. Just like the body has the heart, but it also has the brain, has the arms, has the legs, you know, all the different aspects of what we have in our body. They're all very important, and we wouldn't be human beings without every element. So always remember that. Remember that, okay? Yeah, thank you.
Herbie, when you say that Miles was influenced by you as much as you all were influenced by him, I don't know if you know this, but there's a YouTube video with over 2 million views, and you play on top of Miles, and he gave you a look. And this is the infamous Miles sneers at Herbie Hancock YouTube video. So if you haven't seen it, you'll have to look at it. I think it's a testament to what you said. He was learning from you as well.
No, I've seen him. He even make that sneer sometimes. It's happened
That
more
was
than
regular. That was
more than
that was
that
regular.
one video. I don't know if he was sneering at really. He was looking at me, but I don't know if he was sneering at me or sneering at himself. It's hard to say. It
It
didn't
is.
happen at one time.
That was a regular occurrence.
Regular is like too strong a word, but it happened often. Yeah.
Well, thanks for sharing about your collaboration with Miles. We will
By the
take
way,
one.
it did
Yeah,
scare me. It scared me at first, but then when I realized it happened more than that one time, I realized that there's nothing really for me to fear.
yeah. So we have one last question, and uh, one organizer has asked about the Jazz and Democracy Project, which was presented at the UN back in 2018, and would love to hear your thoughts on jazz and democracy, especially in this day and age.
Well, jazz is like a perfect example of democracy. It is sharing. It is working together. Uh, it's a demonstration of democratic values. Um, it's I understand that democracy is on the chopping block right now. It's frightening. I never thought that I'd be living at a time like this, where America would feel like what I thought it might have been to be German uh, when during World War II, when Hitler rose to fame or infamy. But here we are. But the world is actually the world's been at stake for a while now because of us, human beings. You know, we've been destroying the planet. And now it almost seems like everything's on a chopping block now. But I have great hope for the future. We're living in the age of technology, and technological advancement is happening faster than we ever imagined before, and it's accelerating. So much is coming in faster and faster. So many things that I thought I'd never see or experience in my lifetime, I'm gonna experience in my lifetime. As long as I can, breathe tomorrow morning and the morning after that. So I really believe human beings are going to turn all of this poison that's happening in the world today, turn it into medicine. That's something I learned from my own Buddhist practice about poison can be turned into medicine. Depends on how you look at it. If you can turn poison into medicine, there's nothing to fear. Remember that. Okay, go ahead.
Well, thank you, Herbie and David, for your Q&A and for your insights. It's always something very special for not only us that are around you, but for all those that you're able to share it with today around the world. It's Jazz Day is very special, and it's going to be upon us in a little over 12 days. And we want to thank everyone for all that you're doing, but we also want to make sure that you document it any way you can, from photographs to videos. Please share those with us after Jazz Day so that we can in turn share that with the world, because it's very important for everyone to know what each and every one of you are doing. They read of the registrations, we share bits and pieces, but any type of documentation, a photograph, and certainly you saw from this video earlier, what a message it has for everyone. And we want to see all corners of the globe represented. So in addition to registering, we hope that on May 1st and thereafter that all of you will send something in to us so that we in turn can share that with others. So thank you. We look forward to working with you in the coming days, and we hope that you'll be with us for many years to come, because Jazz Day is just continuing to grow and grow. So we all want to wish everyone a happy International Jazz Day to come, and successful programs. And we will all reconvene just like we're doing here today, sometime a few months, maybe over the summer, to again hear about what all you have done, and we'll, as we start planning for next year. But in the meantime, let's look forward to International Jazz Day 2025. And Herbie will be with you at the global concert that will be streamed worldwide. We hope you'll tune in to that. And there'll be a lot of very special music and messages, as the Director General of UNESCO and others will be sharing the message, because this is a partnership and certainly has been designated by UNESCO and the United Nations as a very special international day. So everyone, we wish you the best, and we are looking forward to International Jazz Day, and we'll reconvene again in the near future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Music inspires one to become more human. To me, the word jazz means, I dare you.
With an open heart, I offer my thanks for helping make today International Jazz Day.
Jazz is always about freedom. It will always be about freedom. To expand, freedom to explore.
You know I love you, 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 I love you anyhow. And I don't care if you don't want me. I'm yours right now.
Music is the universal language of the soul. The whole spectrum of human emotions is there for us to experience. And for me, music is the full expression.
Everyone's really desperately seeking for some thread of connectivity. Like, aren't you like me and I'm like you? Like, aren't we more similar than different? The love of this music really feels global.
Musicians from all over the planet can come together, not meet each other ever before, and get on stage and make music together. Jazz is just the perfect kind of music for inclusion.
Music has no nationality, has no boundary, has no color. Jazz belongs to you as much as it belongs to me.
Reroute the river, let that damn water be. There's some people down the way that's thirsty, so let the liquid spirit free. The folk are thirsty because of man's unnatural hand. Watch what happens when the people catch wind or walk in the rain. On that hard, dry land, come on, clap your head at the clouds.
You have to remember that there's only 12 notes that we have. Everybody's had those same 12 notes for 500 years. 12, that's it. And all over the world, I know it.
When we go on that stage, we are having a conversation. When it gels, I live for that.
This one thing I'm sure that I never
All music's it's about love. You can be angry, but you're not going to stay angry for long once you start playing. And that's where the real humanity comes in.
Jazz is a cultural passport of tolerance and freedom.
It's the thread that keeps us all together.
love.